What's poppin', everybody? This is the Cartoon Kid Ray Rawlins, and we're continuing our reviewing of the Cowardly Dog series in the order in which we had left off. And today's episode is part 2 of season 1, episode 3, and this one is called Hothead. Now, in usual the Cartoon Kid fashion, we got Mr. Alex Payne here to give us the episode breakdown before we start breaking it down. So, Alex Payne, what happens?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna keep this one very simple and brief. Eustace gets this medicine that is supposed to give a person hair growth after they rub it on their head, but what it really does is make them blow up anything that annoys them or makes them really angry. So Courage spends the majority of the episode trying to keep Eustace calm and keep Muriel out of the way of the things he blows up.
My first thought is Muriel says, "Oh, it's almost time. I think it's about time for Courage to get his hair cut." And the crazy thing is, the next episode, or rather, episode part 2 of episode 4, Freaky Fred shaves that dude bald. So, I mean, hey, there's no need to waste money on a haircut, man. And it's just, man, it just shows, this episode just really demonstrates how much Eustace really hates Courage. Like, he said, you look fine, and just ties the poor doggy up and just leaves his ass. He said, screw him. We're keeping him here. I gotta say, another thing is, I love that freaking Hothead music. I don't know. It sounds cool. It sounds, I wouldn't say creepy, but it sounds, I wouldn't say intense is the right word, but it sounds, what's the word you use?
I think intense would be the correct word.
I guess, right? I mean, I don't want to say intense, but hey, we'll go with that. Why not? Because I can't think of anything else. But it is a good little soundtrack. What's your first thought?
Listen, well, you know what? I'm gonna say that later because our fans wouldn't get that. But my first thought is, like you said, the music is good too. My first thought is, watching this episode this time, I don't know, I wasn't really feeling it as much as I felt it before. Like, I was even kind of excited to watch/review this one, but then when I actually watched, I was like, yeah, you know what? It's cool. It's cool.
Okay. I mean, go ahead.
I don't know if you could use this as a moment or a first thought, but I love how they slipped in this very subtle adult joke when Eustace was getting questioned and shit, and they was like, and the guy was like, what's 414 divided by 6? If you actually do that, then it in the calculator it's 69.
I wonder why he was asking that question in the first place.
Listen, and we can get on to moments for this. Why was they having him do any of that shit? Listen, they had that man go through this serious as rigorous tests for this hair growth thing. I mean, they put him in the 0G thing where they use for astronauts and had him spinning around. They had serious wind blowing. They did all kind of crazy shit to that man.
I love how when you see the first guy explode, and it's just like, are people not being alerted to this? Like, obviously he was in the building, you hear a big boom, and it's just like, yo, did nobody hear that explosion? And you see Courage running around screaming. I like how he just runs into the camera. You see nothing but his mouth and teeth. I thought it was pretty cool.
I love when he was like watching the guy. I love how he was hiding in the toilet, and then you just see his eyes peek out of the toilet. It's like,
actually,
did
you know
flush?
what?
I don't think he
No, yeah, he did. He did flush. He was actually freaking, I guess, using the toilet, I suppose. But
yeah.
You know what? The public bathrooms, I don't know if you noticed, they automatically flush themselves. Some of them do. So, who knows, man? But Courage was definitely in that toilet, which is, ugh. You gotta love, though. I do like how this episode plays off of Eustace's anger, because he obviously is a very angry dude. And the whole entire episode, you hear Muriel in that loud ass squeaking chair or rocking chair, and it's just freaking squeaking. It's like, Eustace, can you please fix the squeak in this chair? Like, bitch, you don't know how to do that shit yourself? I shouldn't say that. We listen. That's an edit. But no, all jokes aside, though, it's just like, man, Muriel should definitely know how to do that shit. I know plenty of women who knows how to fix furniture, so she shouldn't be dependent on Eustace to do it. Anyway, another moment that I like, obviously, is at the end, right? Where, and forgive me for this, but I don't remember what he was getting mad at. But basically, Courage just basically
The
picks
needle.
Muriel. The needle? Okay. Courage basically picks
Yeah,
Muriel up.
threading the needle.
Yeah. And he just freaking just hauls ass, just get up out of there. And, the music's playing, things getting, very riley and intense. And then it just stops. And Courage's like, woo. And then it takes a small little second break. And then it just starts up again. And then Courage just gets up out of that jam. And the house just blows up, yo. Just blows up. It's just like, well, listen, anyone who knows Eustace, especially up to this point, or even the point where I know him now, because we reviewed plenty of episodes beyond what we have on this channel right now, or rather in the first season. But it's just like, yo, Eustace is a motherfucking mean, mad motherfucker, grumpy old man. So listen, you knew that had to happen by the end of the episode. And the fucked up thing is Muriel was still up in that chair. She was just sitting down, house all blown to hell. She's like, you know what? Courage, when Eustace gets back, please remind me to tell that man to fix the squeak in this chair. It's just like, damn, Muriel. I don't
Listen,
know how she doesn't get. Go ahead.
No, I was just say I love the sound that it made, and I can't place my finger on what the sound is, but I love the sound that it makes when he rubs his head. I really want to say it's the sound when you rub a balloon, but I don't think that's right.
Sounds
it's like
right.
when you rub something really smooth, man. I don't know, because it doesn't have that squeak a balloon has. It sounds very flat. I don't know. Maybe like when you rub in plastic or glass or something. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But another moment when it comes to Eustace blowing shit up was when he was in the kitchen trying to open the can, and Courage goes outside and starts ringing the doorbell and shit. So Muriel could come out in front. She's like, Courage, you got the mail, and then you see the explosion and the hair and shit move.
Yeah. And then she says like, "Oh, is it windy
I love
in
that
here?"
part.
Let's get on to positives and negative. What's a positive and what's a negative on your front for this episode?
I think for positive, the episode had a really interesting idea, and I think they dealt with it really well. It had some nice moments and shit. And for the negative, I don't know. I feel like this episode is similarly to the Bigfoot one. It really doesn't have that much going on in it either. I would say it has a few more moments than that other one, and I would say this one was probably
Right.
more enjoyable than that one. But
Okay.
it feels the same amount of underwritten, I guess.
I would agree with that. Like my positive is that Eustace, and I said it earlier, like he's a stereotypical mean, grumpy old man. So obviously, I'm surprised, or I suppose surprised wouldn't be the right word, because this is Courage the Cowardly Dog. But it is pretty cool how they made an idea that played off of, that little stereotype of the, mean, grumpy old man. And Eustace is like, okay, you know what, we're gonna create this thing where whenever he gets mad, it's gonna cause him to blow up, or cause explosions, which is pretty cool. And it's a neat named episode, pretty simple, hothead, obviously. So, Courage the Cowardly Dog did good with playing off that little story idea. Now, I would say, because I don't want to say it's underwritten, because it's alright, this is a basic comedy centric episode, just like the Bigfoot one that we reviewed last week. But it's just missing that one thing, and I honestly can't say what it is. I don't know what it is. Like, it's just not. It doesn't feel as impactful.
It feels, yeah.
It feels.
It
feels like it's missing something. Yeah, there you go. And that's why you said you feel that it's underwritten. But overall, even with that, I'm just gonna slide in my review right here, is that this episode, it had a cool idea. Now, even though the comedy, wasn't up to par as other episodes that I watched. Cajun Granny Stew, for instance, had a simple story plot, and it was very comedy centered. Jokes were funny as hell. I was laughing my ass off. I love that episode to death. This just doesn't compare. However, they did play, as I said, off the storyline very well in this episode. It just wasn't very enjoying. Now, I will say, simply put, and I said this before, time and time again, that this episode isn't bad. Okay, it's Courage the Cowardly Dog. I still enjoyed it. It wasn't terrible at all, but it wasn't the greatest in the world. So I will say this one is a tad bit better than Courage Meets Bigfoot, and therefore I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. What about you?
You always steal my ratings, man, because I agree with you fully. It's a nice, cool, simple episode, a little bit better than Bigfoot, but not by a lot. So I'm gonna give it the same thing, a 6.5 out of 10.
All right, there you go. We're still see we think alike, man, and people who watch our reviews probably know that. It's like, oh man, they must have planned this shit out. They're probably rating the same,
Except when it
but
comes to the Boondocks and Harley Quinn.
and in South Park. Oh, you hate you some South Park. But anyway, man, y'all know who it is, man. I'm the cartoon kid, Ray Rawlins. He's Alex Payne. And we give this episode a 6.5 out of 10. Not terrible, but it wasn't super, super great. Pretty average. But y'all know what it is, man. This is the Cartoon Kid channel where we talk cartoons and we do it daily, baby. Y'all know what to do, man. Down in the comments box below, tell us if you like this episode, tell us if you hate it, or tell us if you have any other episode ideas or shows for us to review, man. We always open to good criticism, bad criticism, whatever. We know we need new mics, this and that, but we're learning, we're starting up. But with all that being said, man, we will see you when we see you. Peace out, everybody.